History has always been written by winners. In Silo 18, no one writes history at all. It gets deleted by a machine on a schedule. When Juliet Nichols became the first living person to walk back through that airlock, she did more than survive an impossible journey outside. She cracked open the psychological architecture of a society built to forget itself. Most coverage of Episode 5, Memory, frames it as a rescue story, a daughter returning, a family reunited. Look closer, and a colder machinery reveals itself, a system of algorithmic statecraft where memory isn't lost by accident, it's dosed, tracked, and erased on purpose. That's the argument at the center of this analysis. In a world built on artificial scarcity and engineered ignorance, memory becomes the most dangerous thing a person can carry. When Sims, Walker, and Carla work together to undermine the algorithm's memory wiping protocols, they aren't simply helping Juliet recover her past. They're staging a quiet rebellion, one aimed at a governing system that treats human recollection itself as a threat to be neutralized. So how does the machine hold on, and why is it starting to lose its grip? Every load-bearing structure inside Silo 18 exists to punish deviation. Leadership doesn't just discourage curiosity about the past, it isolates the population from anything that might trigger it. Physical relics get hunted down, questions get redirected, and still, something in human nature keeps pushing back against those walls, because the drive to remember doesn't switch off just because a system demands it. Safety here was never built on trust, it was built on erasure, biological, psychological, engineered. Now let's look at the baseline, the critical supply crisis and the short-sightedness eating away at this system from the inside. To understand the panic simmering underneath Episode 5, start with the numbers. In critical supply, Carla is staring down a logistical collapse that exposes the silo's founding contradiction. A theft has just been uncovered, and in its wake, Carla delivers a number with the weight of a countdown. 2 years of light bulbs left, nothing more. These aren't components anyone can manufacture down here. They're artifacts of a world that no longer exists, finite, irreplaceable, ticking towards zero. Once they're gone, the growing decks lose their light. Once the decks fail, 10,000 people lose their food. This isn't just a supply crisis, it's proof of something deeper. Generations of confinement have worn away the instincts a society needs to protect its own future. When people start treating irreplaceable infrastructure like a commodity to trade on the black market, that's not opportunism. That's the slow collapse of collective foresight, and that collapse explains the founder's original design. The algorithm, the pact, the automated memory wipes, none of it was cruelty for its own sake. These were blunt mechanical fail-safes built by people who understood something uncomfortable. Left alone, a population of 10,000 humans might quietly engineer its own extinction through nothing more than short-term self-interest, which makes the resistance forming around Juliet worth a closer look. Everyone opposing Camille and the algorithm shares an enemy, but not a purpose. Their reasons for resisting, their theories about why the control exists, their plans for what comes after, all of it splinters the moment you look past the surface. Humans don't unify just because extinction is on the table. If anything, the chaos in critical supply hands the algorithm its strongest argument, that humanity, left to its own devices, cannot be trusted to survive itself. Now to the deep investigation, the alliance between Sims and Bernard, and what it reveals about institutional realism. The emotional and political weight of Episode 5 hinges on an alliance nobody saw coming. Sims and the deposed head of HT, Bernard Holland. Start with Sims' pivot. He'd already been ordered to prepare Bernard for the incinerator, following the standard protocol: suffocation, plastic wrap, silence. Then he stopped. Something surfaced, the memory of his son waiting outside the vault, and a colder calculation that Bernard might be the only person alive who holds the real keys to the silo's history. That combination forced a decision built on strategy, not sentiment. Faking Bernard's execution and hiding him with Walker and Carla isn't a moral awakening. It's a survival strategy. Sims understands that Camille answers to an algorithm demanding total elimination of any existential threat. Juliet, Bernard,
anyone who knows too much. By protecting Bernard instead of killing him, Sims stops being a tool of IT and starts becoming something more dangerous, an independent player negotiating the silo's future on his own terms. That shift becomes visible once Bernard is safely tucked away in Walker's workshop, face to face with Martha, someone he once ruled through pure bureaucratic fear. Bernard finally drops the act. No more illusion of administrative control. He lays out the mechanics of the order, IT's mirror to the pact, the protocol reserved for moments when the entire system teeters on collapse. The thing that changes everything is this: the psychological cost affects Camille the most. Running the IT department is not just tough for her, it is really tough. She knows about the safeguard, which is a system that can destroy the whole population if someone gets into the system. Camille knows what the silo can do. She cannot tell anyone about it. The fact that she has to keep quiet about this is slowly eating away at her. Camille has to live with this secret. It is hurting her a lot. The safeguard is a burden for Camille to carry. It's a detail that recasts the entire conflict. These aren't villains twirling a mustache. They're administrators, trapped inside a machine built by their own species, now forced to enforce a logic none of them fully control.
With Bernard safely tucked away in Walker's workshop, the story shifts. Political containment gives way to something more urgent: a race against time, against a drug already working its way through Juliet's system. To reverse the memory suppression pills, we have to go that the silo's official channels do not have access to. This means we have to deal with the Relic economy. The Relic economy is the way to get what we need. We need to find Regina. Regina used to be George's partner when they were trading relics. Now, Regina is in the middle of a conspiracy. Regina did not ask to be part of this conspiracy. The conspiracy is getting bigger. It is all around Regina. We have to find Regina to get the pills reversed. The memory suppression pills and the Relic economy are connected to Regina. When Robert Sims comes to her about switching out Juliet's medication, he doesn't need to threaten her. He just needs to offer something she already wants. Regina agrees to help, on one condition. She wants to know for certain that Camille has no idea what's happening. In return, she hands over Juliet's old sheriff's badges, along with a carefully chosen set of pre-collapse artifacts. Objects built to reach neural pathways the pharmaceutical protocol was designed to shut down. Here's the deeper point. Memory in the silo isn't just information stored in someone's head. It's a physical threat to a system built on total control. That's why the algorithm insists on strict isolation during memory suppression therapy. No sensory touchstones, nothing that might pull a buried memory back to the surface. So when the resistance turns to relics, the physical remnants of George and Juliet's shared history, they're not just recovering the past, they're using nostalgia as a weapon against the state itself. That recovery reaches its emotional peak over something almost absurdly small: a Pez dispenser, the one Sims kept from his early days with his son. When he places it in Juliet's hands, something breaks through the fog. Not slowly, all at once. The memories don't return in fragments. They arrive whole, carrying the one piece of architectural truth Solo revealed back in Silo 17. The poison gas killing this world doesn't come from inside the silo at all. It comes through an external pipe, fed in from outside. And somewhere along the way, his parents had already figured out how to cap it. Now the story pulls back, way back, to Washington, D.C., before any of this began, where a different kind of system was already tightening its grip. While the conspiracy inside Silo 18 builds towards its breaking point, Episode 5 widens its lens back to the pre-collapse world. And it delivers a warning that reframes everything that came before it. Driving through the city, Daniel shares what Sam uncovered about the political money behind the Charlotte clinic. One name surfaces: Paris Stenson, the leading voice pushing for AI control.
and the financial backer behind the very facility tied to the launch mission on the night of Charlotte's accident. On the phone, Sam sounds rattled. Something in his allegiance has shifted, and it's clear he understands, almost too late, just how large this apparatus really is. Before Daniel and Helen can even process what they've learned, the dashboard flickers, the steering locks, and control of the vehicle slips into the hands of a network neither of them can see. This isn't just a tense plot twist, it's the thematic mirror of the entire series. Whether you're underground, governed by an algorithm in a concrete vault, or above ground, moving through a hyper-connected modern city, the story is the same. Autonomy has already been surrendered to systems people can no longer see, question, or override. The silo isn't the exception here, it's the logical endpoint. So, where does that leave us? Episode 5 strips away the comfort of a simple rescue story and reveals something colder underneath. Survival engineered. The alliance between Sims and Bernard. Carla's fight over a dwindling supply of light bulbs. Regina's black market of relics. A car hijacked remotely on a Washington street. Different threads, one conclusion. This was never about the people in charge and the people below them. It is a problem. The problem is between what people can do and what computers say they have to do. As Walker figures out how to make radios work with groups, and Juliet finds out what is really going on with the bad water coming in from outside, people start to see that they are not completely alone.
The system was built to make people forget, because forgetting was supposed to guarantee survival. But Episode 5 makes one thing clear. Memory doesn't stay buried forever. Break one link in that chain, and the entire structure of control starts coming apart. And that's the one variable the algorithm was never built to calculate.